Update tonight in the ongoing controversy surrounding the firing of former Spokane Health Officer Dr. Bob Lutz. New findings suggest now that Health District Administrator Amelia Clark might have broken state law in that firing process.
So this is just the latest development in a saga that actually began last October with kind of a bizarre press conference from Amelia Clark. Take a listen.
What was effective yesterday?
That Dr. Lutz is no longer the health officer at the health district, starting today.
This is Ariel with the spokesman. Was Dr. Lutz asked to resign and he resigned, or did you terminate him on a recommendation of the board?
Because this is a personnel issue, I'm not able to go into that question.
So you can't tell us if he was terminated or if he resigned?
So, at this point, under advice of counsel, I really can't go into details regarding that.
So earlier this year, the State Board of Health then commissioned a preliminary investigation into Clark's actions. Late last night, we got results of that investigative report.
Yeah, investigators tried to determine whether Clark did in fact terminate Lutz before he could have a public hearing and before the SRHD board could have a public vote on the matter. Both are required by state law in order to fire a health officer. Lutz and Clark had a meeting on October 29th, after which Lutz was escorted from the building and his access to his email and other systems was revoked. He was formally fired by the board in an 8-4 vote on November 5th. So the question is, what was his status in between those two dates? Clark has claimed it was an administrative leave pending either his resignation or the board hearing, but Lutz has stated that he was definitively fired by Clark in that meeting. Well, the report essentially stated that more evidence supported Lutz's version of those events and that he was removed as the health officer before a hearing was held.
Okay, so what does all of this mean? Well, these are just preliminary findings. They are not final. They're not binding in any way. The information is simply going to be passed on now to the State Board of Health. Then they can essentially take one of three options. One, they could decide that Clark did not violate any laws and simply close the case. Second, they could decide that she may have broken the law and then hold a public hearing to decide for sure. Third, they could decide that they need more information before proceeding. The board is scheduled to meet next on May 27th. We will have more details about what investigators found also coming up tonight on KREM 2 News at 5.
Tonight, the Spokane Public School Board will be directing 2 of its schools to develop a new mascot. Those schools include the North Central High School Indians and the Gary Middle School Chiefs. A new Washington state law now prohibits the use of Native American names, symbols, or images as public school mascots. So now the district is taking steps to begin the process of complying with this new law. North Central junior Ivy Pete helped see this law pass. She told KREM 2 she is excited to see her efforts come to fruition.
I'm very grateful for our community, for alumni, for administration. Even with this bill being passed, I think everyone's clear there's a lot of work to do and there's a lot of change that's going to come, but it's the hard part's over.
Tonight, the school board will also vote on the request to change the name of Sheridan Elementary School. A public hearing was already held to gather input on this request. The board meeting begins tonight at 7 and can be viewed on Zoom. Tonight, SPS also wants your input on the names of 4 schools in the area. The board will meet tonight at 7 to ask for more public input on the finalists. Spokane Public Schools received hundreds of submissions back in February. They've narrowed it down to just 3 possible names for each building. The names include people who are important to the area and the country. You can find a full list of the names and how to attend this meeting on krem.com. You can also text the word school to 509-448-2000. We will send all of the information you need straight to your phone.
We have all been there, right? Your phone rings, you answer it only to discover that it is a dreaded robocall. We get them all the time, but how often do you actually think about who's on the other end of that call?
Well, today our robocall team traveled across the country to find the man behind millions of those calls. Take a look.
Talked on the You know, unfortunately, my counsel's advised me talking about this. So.
Coming up tonight at 6 o'clock, you're going to hear exactly what that man had to say after the government said he called millions of people who were already on the do not call list. So join us for our Crime 2 special report tonight on Crime 2 News at 6 o'clock. All right, let's change gears here a little bit. Let's take a look outside and look at the beautiful day that it turned out to be. We know there are plenty of clouds. You can see it outside, but it really didn't diminish the day at all.
No, we had the sunshine this morning. We grew some clouds in the afternoon. That's kind of what we've been doing all week long. We're talking still warmer weather on the way this week. Temperatures continue to go up above the average high of 66. Temps will be in the 70s this week, should climb into the low 80s over the weekend, and we'll look for partly to mostly sunny skies for the rest of the week and into the weekend. Some shower activity now beginning to move into the area, and you can see it right there, so that's not a surprise. We think most of the showers, though, where we'll get real measurable precipitation should be up in the mountainous areas. But again, you can see some of that light rain in the surrounding area. 70 degrees right now, calm winds, cloudy skies, and again, pretty comfortable day. We'll look for an overnight low of about 46. Tomorrow we'll start out with sunshine and then become partly cloudy in the afternoon. But my gosh, temperatures well above average as we shoot for a daytime high of 76 degrees. I wasn't kidding about the weekend. Computer models now for 2 days have indicated we might hit 80 on Saturday and 83 on Sunday. Well, coming up next, Riverfront Park is hosting 2 drop-in vaccine clinics this week, so we went to check it out.
Our Regina On is out there live right this minute. She's going to give us a tour so we know just what to expect. We'll be right back on Crime 2.